So my name is Dominic, and I'm one of the actors here at the Jungle Book.
You are Dominic, and you play...
I play three characters. The first one is Akela, the leader of the wolf pack. Then I play one of the monkeys, and then I'm the sergeant major in the second half.
Okay, and I am Harrison, and I am on Worcester.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Harrison. Thank you for coming to talk to me.
Thank you for talking. Yes. How do you turn the story of the Jungle Book from a novel into a production?
So that process started a long time ago with the man who adapted the show. So he would have taken the novel and then written a play script of it, and I presume that that's what he does. He'll be, an adapter of stories, So when Sarah, the director, decided that she wanted to tell the story of the Jungle Book, she would look through all the different stage adaptations and decide which version she wants to do. And she picked Neil Duffield, I think his name is. She picked his version. And then starts looking for the characters that she needs, and that's the point that the actors come on board. She casts it, and then we get into the room, and then we move on to the rehearsal process, which is what I think your next question is about.
How do you take a script into a piece of theatre?
Yeah, but it's a really exciting process whereby words on a page start to become this lived story. So from an actor's point of view, what we would do is we look through the lines that our character says, lines that other characters say about our characters, and what that tells us about who they are, how they might speak, how they might move, and then we look through in each scene what is my character trying to do, what's important for my character, what does he need from the other characters. And all of that is done with the other actors, with the director, with the movement director. If there's music, it's done with the composer or the musical director. And details like placing us where we'll stand on the stage and knowing where the things are that are important to us. So if I'm on stage and this is my house behind me, it's different to how I'm on stage if it's someone else's house behind me, because So all of those sorts of things, you sort of gradually piece them into place throughout the rehearsal process until you get sort of quite a rich world within the story.
Have you ever worked with disabled performers?
No, I haven't. I've never done a show with disabled performers. Obviously, this show has 3 deaf actors in it, although obviously deaf people don't identify as disabled, but they do still have special requirements in rehearsals in order to make sure that they're able to to be included in the work. And so there was a degree of deaf awareness on this show. But no, I've never done a show with disabled actors. I'd really like to.
How do you become actor?
So I knew I wanted to be an actor because as a child I was always showing off, and I thought that would be a good way of doing it for a living. The process really started for me when I went to drama school. So I applied to various drama schools in London, and then I got into one, and I spent 3 years training, doing full-time actor training, long hours. And then the last year of that was about industry readiness and marketing yourself as the actor, trying to get an agent, trying to get interest from casting directors and theatres and directors, and so I finished drama school. What year was it? 2015. Now it's 2019. So I've been doing it for getting on for 4 years now. And I love it. So my agent puts me up for work, they get what I call breakdowns saying, we're casting a play, we need a 30-year-old man who can play the accordion. That's usually my casting. And so my agent will submit me for it, and then if the director wants to see me, they'll call me in for an audition, and then you meet them, you do a little bit of a scene, sometimes you sing them a song, sometimes you play them pieces if it's a musical show and you need to play an instrument. And it's taken me all over the country. I've worked in lots of different cities, so it's a really exciting job.
Yes. What's the best performance you've ever given?
Well, it's difficult to rank them. There's always something to enjoy from a job. Everything has got a different challenge, or if it's a particular song that you love singing, or if I quite like doing fight scenes, so I like shows where I get to wield a sword and look really cool. this show is a really special one because of the, well, it's an Ivan Stock, you know, composition, so the music is really catchy. Learning how to work with deaf actors in the room and the sort of level of deaf awareness that I'll come away from this job with is something I'm really going to value. What else do I love being the Sergeant Major. Did you see the show today?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just being in the second half and just, you know, that be a big personality like that. It's terrific fun. So this is certainly one of the best, if not the best. Yeah.
Not all characters in the Jungle Book are human. How do you perform these characters so that humans could understand them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There's sort of two elements to it. The story itself, for all that the main characters like Baloo and Bagheera are not human, they're still sort of telling a human story, aren't they? It's still about where do you belong and you know, teaching a young person and making sure that Mowgli is going to be equipped to face the world, and the wolf pack, it's all about identity and who we are. So the characters themselves have a human, what would you call it, like a human intention, a human, like their story is a human story, and then Rudyard Kipling has layered on that they are animals, and the way that we then tackle that was with our movement director, John Beanie. He came in and we looked at animals and how different animals move, how do wolves move, you know, because they're sort of like dogs, and you know, what do they see of the world compared to how does a monkey move and how they've got, you know, really long limbs. You know, Bagheera, how does the panther move? How does Shere Khan, the tiger, move? They're both cats, but one of them bigger and heavier and more powerful. And so we spent a long time with him looking at that, and then working out how much of that we can layer in, like you say, whilst keeping it clear, so you know, humans can still understand. Obviously, if all the monkeys ever spoke was, the humans would be sitting there going, not really sure what they're getting at here. So how would a monkey talk if you give it words? And so we sort of take, you know, monkeys making this noise, and so when the monkeys speak, we give them a voice that's sort of up in that register. You know, so it's sort of you know, a process that we went through rehearsals, building those characters. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you rest and recuperate between shows to have enough energy for the next one?
Yeah, it's a really important thing, particularly in a show like this where there's a lot of jumping around. You know, the monkeys are quite low down, so it's quite taxing on your thighs. Sleep is the most important thing. You know, sleep is kind of sacred. I make sure that I prioritise enough time for sleep, and if that means less time socialising or less time, you know, staying in bed a little bit longer in the morning rather than getting up and doing other stuff, that to me is the most important thing, because you need to be so switched on to be performing. Other things that we do, I have a voice steamer, because obviously it's quite taxing on my voice, so I'll go home and it looks like a teapot, but instead of having a spout on the end, it's got like a glass straw at the top. And so I pour hot water into there and I just breathe the steam in and let it pass over my vocal cords as a way of letting them relax at the end of the day, and taking care of those. And also you have to watch your diet a little bit before a show. You don't want to be full up on, you know, go and have a big fish and chip supper and a milkshake and, you know, fill yourself up with junk food. You sort of make sure that you're eating properly throughout the day. So it does take a little bit of care. In that respect, it's nowhere near as bad as being an athlete. You know, you don't have to watch your sort of calorie intake, all that sort of stuff. But there is a degree of, you know, eating well to make sure you've got good energy.
Yeah. What training do you have, and do you have different training for different skills, such as acting or singing?
Yeah, so I went to drama school. That's where I trained how to be an actor, and as part of that we looked at, you know, things like voice and movement and acting things. So looking at how to take a scene and break it down, and knowing how you're going to intellectually tackle the scene. Then, as you say, yeah, singing does take it's a different technique. You need to understand your vocal cords in a different way. You need an element of a sort of musical knowledge or understanding to deliver a song. But similarly, you still need to layer in that stuff that you know from your acting training. It's not like singing a pop song. When you're singing a song on stage, it's because you still need to affect someone. It's the same as if I deliver a line. So it's a combination of lots of different skill sets to bring together. You know, and how to deliver a song or how to deliver a dance as well. Similarly, when we're doing that monkey dance, we're not trying to be ballerinas and make it look really graceful and amazing. It's supposed to be about monkeys and rough and ready, and you know, the motivation is we need the man cub to teach us how to be like men. So the whole song and dance routine is kind of it's got intention behind it, which is, intention is kind of a concept that you draw from your actor training into that. So yeah, so it's a lot of things combining. And similarly with me, there's musical instruments, and a lot of the other characters, the other actors are playing musical instruments. So again, there's technique involved, there's expression involved in that, and there's also storytelling. How can you play your guitar like you're afraid of the tiger that's on the stage? All of that layers in. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's been really nice to meet you. Thank you for coming to speak to me.
Too.
Take care, Harrison.